a shocking new development. Donald Trump's attempts to seize Greenland have sparked a bipartisan revolt among U.S. senators. But this isn't just political posturing. It's a direct threat to NATO, to global security, and to the future of the Arctic. And here's where it gets even more alarming. Not only is this deeply personal for Greenland and Denmark, but it also has the potential to fracture international alliances in ways we didn't see coming. Stay with me, because what happens next could change everything. Here's the twist nobody's talking about. This isn't just about one country. This is part of a much bigger story, a growing tension that's threatening global stability. U.S. senators from both parties, Republicans and Democrats alike, sent a delegation to Greenland with one clear message: we've got your back. They were standing side by side with Greenland and Denmark, sending a powerful signal to Trump and the world that his threats against NATO and the Arctic won't go unchallenged. But why now? Why is Greenland suddenly at the center of an international storm? What's really at stake here, and what does it mean for you? Hold on. This is only the beginning. Make no mistake, this isn't just a few senators making noise. This is a direct response to Donald Trump's escalating threats against Greenland, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Senator Shaheen, in no uncertain terms, warned that even the suggestion of U.S. military action in Greenland could fracture NATO. That's right. Trump's rhetoric is not just a bad look, it's a national security risk. In fact, the people of Greenland are so rattled by these threats, they're wondering whether they'll wake up to find their country invaded by the United States. Now think about that. A NATO ally, a trusted partner, is fearing an invasion by the very country they've stood beside for decades. And this is exactly what Putin wants. Notice what's missing here. There's no serious discussion of what Trump's moves would actually accomplish. Only chaos. The situation is escalating fast. What started as a series of offhand remarks from Trump has now spiraled into a full-blown crisis. And it's not just about Greenland anymore. This is about NATO's very survival. It's a cold reminder of history. Back in 2019, Russian intelligence services tried to sow discord within NATO, falsely claiming the U.S. wanted to seize Greenland. That false flag operation was quickly debunked, but here we are, watching the same rhetoric play out openly in Washington. This isn't just reckless, it's dangerous. And what's worse, it's becoming normalized. The idea of U.S. military action against an ally isn't even shocking to some anymore. What should be an unimaginable scenario is now on the table. And that shift, that's a problem for global security. Now, the evidence is undeniable. Senator Shaheen doubled down, warning that these threats aren't just dangerous, they're counterproductive. The suggestion of an American military takeover of Greenland isn't just about territorial ambition. It's about weakening NATO. It's about undermining decades of trust and cooperation. But here's the kicker. Trump's threats have nothing to do with national security. If the U.S. wants to strengthen its position in the Arctic or secure critical minerals, Greenland has already said it's ready to partner. Instead of forging alliances, Trump's reckless behavior is pushing Greenland, Denmark, and even other NATO countries closer to Russia and China. Imagine that. The real consequence, NATO fractures when it's needed most. And this is where the story flips. What Trump is doing isn't just reckless, it's playing straight into the hands of our adversaries. And then it starts stacking up. First, you've got the Senate delegation standing in solidarity with Greenland and Denmark, publicly denouncing Trump's reckless rhetoric. Then you have NATO allies openly expressing fear, not just about Trump's threats, but the ripple effect it could have on global stability. And now European countries are taking action. Special forces are being deployed to protect Greenland. Just let that sink in for a second. A NATO ally is now preparing for a potential military conflict with the United States. What happens if this continues? The damage isn't just to one country or one alliance. It's a crack in the foundation of the entire geopolitical system. And this is happening right now. Now let's bring this closer to home. Imagine waking up tomorrow and your country is under threat by the very nation you've called an ally for decades. That's the reality facing the people of Greenland today. The fear is real. Children are going to bed wondering if tomorrow they'll be invaded by the United States. And here's the thing, this isn't just an international issue, it's personal. It's about real people, real lives, and the very sovereignty of a nation. If this feels familiar to you, if the idea of a superpower threatening a smaller ally hits close to home, let me know in the comments. Because this isn't just a political debate. This is about the kind of world we want to live in. But here's the unsettling truth behind all this. The system is broken. This isn't just about one man's dangerous rhetoric or the international fallout. It's about the power dynamics that allow this to happen. NATO, once the pillar of Western security, is now under threat from within. The real issue here is leverage. Trump's actions aren't just about Greenland. They're part of a larger game, one where political leverage, economic interests, and military might are in play. And this isn't new. For years, nations have used fear, spectacle, and the promise of power to shape their alliances. What Trump is doing now is just a more blatant version of what's been happening behind closed doors for decades. The deeper question we should be asking, how did we get here, and who benefits when the world's biggest alliances begin to unravel? So, where do we go from here? There are two possible paths. One, things calm down. The pressure builds, but cooler heads in Congress and across the world step in, stopping this madness before it goes too far. The damage is contained and NATO remains intact. But the second path? It's far more dangerous. If Trump doubles down, the consequences could be devastating. Greenland could become the flashpoint that fractures NATO, pulls allies into conflict, and shifts the global balance of power in unpredictable ways. The next move is already in motion, whether we like it or not. And here's why this matters to you. The way the world reacts now could determine the future of global security for generations. In the end, it's not just about Greenland, it's about the world we're shaping for tomorrow. The threat to Greenland, to NATO, and to global security is real, but so is the chance to correct course. This is where the entire story flips. It's not just about one country's sovereignty, it's about the alliances that bind us together and what happens when those bonds start to break. If you've made it this far, you know the stakes are higher than ever. So what happens next? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The choices made today will echo for decades to come. If you want to stay plugged into this unfolding story, don't forget to follow for more in-depth analysis. We'll keep you updated as this story develops.